Okay, so this episode was a lot better than I expected it to be. We didn't get a duel within this episode, but thanks to the vibes, tone and the atmosphere this episode presented, plus the Yumu character focus, this episode rocked. Hello everyone and welcome to Dueling with Downton, and today we're here to talk about episode 16 of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush anime series. Again, this was an episode that was fantastic all around, and I think that was mainly thanks to the atmosphere that it created and the character display from the different characters within the show. So, throughout most of the episode, we had this theme about Yuhi being scared of a ghost. Now, though we as the viewer know that ghosts aren't possibly real, and I think images of Fisher Sky were revealed before the episode actually aired, which could have actually dampened the episode itself because of obviously spoilers. However, the episode presented itself in a very creepy way using its visuals, its character reactions and the audio/sound effects, and I think they were done brilliantly. I really love the visual of that sort of ghost silhouette appearing in front of Yuhi. That was really creepy, and the way they showed it reflecting Yuhi's eyes as well helped to show how terrified Yuhi was in that moment. Add on the character reactions that we see of things like Yuhi freaking out and trying to erase all the things that were reflective items, even covering himself in a blanket, acting terrified. This kid was traumatized. Now, I would normally say that Yuhi would overreact with him being scared, and this would be ridiculous. But honestly, here, I couldn't blame him. Like, he always had voices in his head telling him not to do something in a sinister tone. Now that is frightening and freaky. We even learn how Eudius is scared of ghosts as well, and I thought this was kind of wholesome. I would be surprised if Zoijo was also scared of ghosts, and this was some sort of like Volgear kind of soldier sort of trait, but at the same time, I'm curious. Again, for me, the main highlight in helping set this mood and tone of the scary stuff within this episode was the audio and sound effects. I love the voice acting of this creepy voice that we was hearing at the beginning of the episode. Of course, we now know that voice belonged to Fisher Sky. Even his little phrase of saying sky, sky, sky added to this creepy creation. Yuhi's voice acting in being scared and freaked out played to the moment as well. The music, the echoing and the background sounds were also perfect in giving that horror-like feeling. So from a horror side of things, this episode was great, and I can imagine a few kids watching this episode being a little bit freaked out and believing in ghosts by the end of it. Now, another side of this episode that made it really enjoyable to watch was the information that was presented, as we expand more on the character of Goha Yuna, learning that she is in fact an elementary schooler, but also she's also the president of Goha, who in this universe created rush duels. Which is kind of an interesting topic to think about, considering everyone seemed to believe and know that in Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's, Yuga was the one that created rush duels. But now in Go Rush, everyone believes it was Goha Corporation. However, this information about her being an elementary school student kind of means that she can't be the same lady from the ending of episode 13 who is after Manabu, as the lady in that darkened room looked more adultish rather than childish. But just because we saw a silhouette in this episode doesn't mean that the drawing that London did isn't also Goha Yuna. Because from the looks of it, the silhouette of Goha Yuna that we see in this episode when looking at the Goha logo was actually wearing a hood. And at the same time, while we're on the topic of the Goha logo, I do actually like this logo, and it is different from the one from 7's. However, moving on, but still keeping with Goha Yuna, we might actually have a reason as to why she would have went to the alien residency area, and that is to find the people that went missing after her interactions with them. Two more characters are shown as silhouettes in this episode. We've got Netsuko, the one on the left, who is said to be an interviewer, and Menjubro, who is the one on the right, who is a student of the noodle dipping variety. And yes, That character's hair does look like Yuga's hairstyle. It's weird, but it's very cool looking. So a quick prediction. UTS will find these two characters before they find Goha Yuna. And upon finding Yuna, I think she will feel like the UTS kidnapped her friends, thus leading to a duel between Goha and UTS. But one thing is still bugging me from this whole episode and what we know so far, and that is London. He gets mentioned again in this episode, but he's unreachable. Now the question does arise. Why is he unreachable? All of this just makes him even more suspicious. Now, this episode's main character of focus was Yumu herself, and honestly, I loved it. The episode made me really like her character even more, as it shows off her quick thinking skills, her adaptability, her forward planning skills, and also her smarts and genius. It also really proves as to why she is the president of UTS. And yes, the adults are loyal to her thanks to the previous president. But I think Yumu has actually showed and earned the respect and loyalty of those around her in UTS just with her actions and her business-like thinking already. Those little goofy skits showing off her methods of combating a situation when it arises, I thought were pretty fun to watch, and it not only shows the character traits of her, but also shows a bit of a fun personality from Yumu as well. Now, I haven't really said this very much in my reviews, but I really like Yumu's design. But this episode, they really animated her to the next level. And I will be honest, a few times when seeing Yumu on screen, my brain went, oh, I know those socks. It's Yumu. Seeing that she's dueling next episode well gives me even more joy, as I wanted to see more Yumu duels moving forward. So I can't wait to see what new dragon they're going to give her next time around. Moving along to her next episode opponent, Fisher Sky. Now this alien is awesome, and already he added to the creepy factor of this episode, and that evil grin he gives in the preview is just mwah, chef's kiss. Honestly, this guy reminds me of two things from a different anime. We got Dazai from Bungo Stray Dogs, because of the whole gangster vibe that he's giving off, and Wishy-Washy from Pokemon, because that Pokemon is like lots of little tiny fishes all merging into one big powerful creature. And honestly, I can't wait to learn more about this informant. Hopefully he does become a reoccurring character, because when you have someone with such a cool looking design and hopefully a great personality, then you just can't waste it, can you? Now let's briefly talk about Eudius. Because okay, he doesn't like ghosts. No big deal. He's a smart kid who's learning and understanding the secret code to UTS's kind of secret language. Now I feel like this kind of talking code needs to reappear in the future, giving us a hint at an upcoming event that might just play out in the next episode without being too obvious. I really want them to use this kind of secret UTS language to make us as the viewer think and kind of guess as to what's going to happen based on what is being encrypted. But sticking with Eudius, on top of his ability to learn, Eudius obviously has his sword fighting skills. He has a shield, laser eye beams, and now Eudius has his Eudius eyes, which basically makes his eyes into a car headlight, lighting the path in front of you, illuminating the darkness. Eudius, just keep on showing off your useful party tricks, because each time you do, it just adds to your character and makes you even more quirky. Now that's actually going to do it for me for this review. I do need to go back and rewatch this episode and fully understand the kind of logic behind the code that UTS use when communicating with each other in secret. But at the same time, I can do that in, whatever spare time I have. So, hopefully you've enjoyed this review. Let me know all of your thoughts on this episode in the comments down below. Were you creeped out by some of the stuff that was being said and presented? Let me know. Love to hear. Apart from that though, hope you have a great day. Like, comment, subscribe for more Yu-Gi-Oh content, and I'll be sure to see you next time. I've already said it, but have a great day. Arigato, matane. Goodbye.